10 transfers that almost happened. 10. Luis Suarez to Arsenal. Despite banging in 30 goals in 44 games for Liverpool in 2012-13, Suarez wanted to leave Anfield citing negative media attention, although biting Branislav Ivanovic and racially abusing Patrice Evra didn't help. And after hearing that Suarez had a £40 million release clause, Arsenal swooped in with a cheeky bid of £40 million plus £1. It didn't work. In fact, it just pissed Liverpool off, as they expected £55 million for the striker. The release clause wasn't actually a release clause either. It just meant Liverpool had to inform Suarez of the bid rather than accept it. Needless to say, Arsene Wenger didn't stump up the extra £14,999,999 to secure the deal. 9. Zlatan Ibrahimovic to Arsenal. This is the reason why the Zlatan doesn't do auditions quote exists. The big Swede was at Malmö when Arsenal invited him over in 2001. A deal was so close to being struck that there are several pictures of an excited Ibrahimovic holding the red and white shirt of Arsenal. But Wenger made one fatal error, telling Ibra that he wanted him to take a trial. Needless to say, someone who has an ego big enough to refer to himself in the third person told Arsene to do one. He joined Ajax instead, and the rest is history, with Ibra claiming he definitely made the right choice. Hard to argue? 8. Patrick Vieira to Real Madrid. The most annoying transfer saga for 3 summers between 2002 and 2004 was undoubtedly Real Madrid's attempts to sign Patrick Vieira. In the middle of their free-spending Galacticos phase, Los Blancos came closest to signing the Frenchman in 2004. A fee of around £20 million was apparently on offer, and Vieira's representatives met with Real officials. But after Wenger laid down an ultimatum and lined up Michael Carrick as a replacement, Vieira decided to stay. Well, for one season at least, before he jetted off to Juventus. 7. Wayne Rooney to Chelsea. In the summer of 2013, Chelsea manager Jose Mourinho made signing Wayne Rooney his only target for the whole transfer window. And it looked likely, with Sir Alex Ferguson revealing just before he retired that Rooney had requested to leave Old Trafford. Chelsea came in with bids of £20 million and then £25 million plus add-ons, but both were rejected by United. A £40 million third bid was in the offing, but Rooney stayed put. Coincidentally, Wayne put pen to paper on a new deal worth £300,000 per week just 6 months later. 6. Zinedine Zidane to Newcastle United. Zidane very nearly donned the black and white stripes of Newcastle rather than Juventus, but the Tyneside club turned down the chance to sign the maestro in 1996. The then Bordeaux player was available for just £1.2 million, but Newcastle scouted him and decided he wasn't good enough for the Toon. Then again, they weren't the first English team to turn down Zidane, with Blackburn owner Jack Walker apparently saying back in 1995, "Why do you want to sign Zidane when we have Tim Sherwood?" 5. Steven Gerrard to Chelsea. Way back in 2004, Chelsea somehow thought putting Gerrard and Lampard in the same team was top priority, and lodged a £20 million offer for Gerrard. The Liverpool star was keen too, apparently texting Jose Mourinho to say he was going to Stamford Bridge. Only an intervention from his dad telling him to stay local scuppered the deal. But a year later, Chelsea were back with a £32 million offer. Gerrard issued a statement saying he was off and then banged in a transfer request. Fans burnt his shirt, he changed his mind and became a legend instead. 4. David Beckham to Barcelona. Beckham to Barcelona was pretty much signed, sealed and delivered according to the press after United agreed to sell the England midfielder for £25 million in 2003. This was the marquee signing that Barca's Joan Laporta had based his entire presidential campaign around. But Beckham apparently never intended to join the Blaugrana and was quoted saying he was disappointed and surprised that United had accepted Barca's offer. So while Laporta did end up as Barca president, Beckham ultimately snubbed the side who had finished 6th in La Liga and became a Galactico instead. 3. Diego Maradona to Sheffield United. Who wouldn't have wanted to see arguably the greatest player of all time ply his trade for the Blades? Sheffield United's bank manager, apparently. United's manager Harry Haslam spotted a then 17-year-old Maradona during a scouting trip to Argentina in 1978, but he couldn't get the money to complete the £200,000 deal they proposed. Instead, they signed Alejandro Sabella for £160,000. Not a terrible acquisition by any means, but it wasn't enough to keep Sheffield United in the second division, and after relegation they sold Sabella to Leeds for £400,000. How things might have been different if they'd had that extra 40k available. 2. Robert Lewandowski to Blackburn Rovers. Possibly the only time Blackburn natives were pissed off at a sentence that included the words deal and Iceland, 2010's volcanic ash cloud caused mayhem for air traffic, and prevented Lewandowski signing for Blackburn. The £5 million deal looked good to go with the striker's agent on his way to Blackburn to watch their game against Everton, but he never made it due to the cancellation of flights and the drive being too far. Looking back at it now, most Rovers fans would have been willing to drive Lever there and back, but I'm sure he's quite happy with how his career panned out after signing for Dortmund instead. 1. Ronaldinho to Manchester United. In 2003, Ronaldinho was one of the hottest properties on the planet, and Man United were in the hunt to sign the Brazilian. Despite impressing at PSG, the playmaker was available after somehow managing to fall out with pretty much everyone in Paris. Ronaldinho made his intentions clear too, saying, "I would like to be at a great club like United." He almost got his wish, coming just 48 hours away from signing, but at the last minute, a friend in the Barcelona hierarchy persuaded him to go to the Camp Nou instead.
So what would have happened if Ronaldinho had joined Manchester United? Let us know what you think in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, why don't you check out the 10 worst transfers in football history featuring Angel Di Maria. And as always guys, please do like and subscribe.